Hey guys, Mindy here. Thanks for stopping back to my channel. I'm glad that you are here with me today because we are going to be doing an apartment renovation for the family that was my random genetic challenge family. So that was so much fun to do. If you have never done it before or you don't know what the random genetic challenge is, I will post the link in the comment section down below so you can look that up and do it for yourself. It's a lot of fun. Basically, the whole point behind it is you hit random for all of the Sims looks, and you gotta try to kind of after you play with their genetics and have a kid, you got to try to make their kid look semi-decent. So, the family that we came up with is the Daigle family, and I will put that video at the end of this video so you can watch that if you haven't seen it yet as well. So be sure to check that out. So, this apartment is the Jasmine Suites apartment 2B, and San Myshuno, of course. And I wanted to make this apartment look kind of older and well lived in, so I kind of sectioned it off. And right here I am working on the living room, and I decided to put these doors like this. I actually saw Simlissy do this, and it's where I kind of got the idea from. So no, I did not come up with that idea. That credit goes to Simlissy and whoever's done it before her. I didn't steal it. I didn't do any of that crazy stuff. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because I know people get those comments a lot, like, oh, you stole my stuff. But no, like, when you play The Sims and you put it on YouTube and you do something with move objects, like, of course other people are going to take, like, of course other people are going to do that. Like, that's what YouTube is for. Anyways, I could go on a whole rant about that. So yeah, this is a 2-bedroom apartment. It's very closed off. When you first walk in, you walk into a hallway that leads down to the bedrooms and the bathrooms, and then kind of like an entranceway to the main living area, which is combined with the living room, the kitchen, in the dining room. So it is pretty small, but when you walk into this area, it's kind of open in that sense, which I thought was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of just like a really old apartment, and I don't know, maybe they like fixed it up just a little bit. I don't know. The family is a very interesting family. I do want to say that I did forget to make the mom and dad, so Emily Chase and Jonathan Daigle are the mom and the dad, and I did forget to make them married in the challenge. So I was just so caught up in the genetics of everything that I forgot to make them married. So they are not married, but they do live together and they do have a kid together who is Renee Daigle. And I kind of wanted this apartment to I wanted this apartment to reflect their personalities and what they like. So Emily wants to be a master chef, so the kitchen was very important to me. I wanted to like update it a little bit so it does kind of like stand out, I think, with the rest of the house, because the cabinets look a little bit newer and the counters look a little bit newer. It's a little bit brighter, so I wanted to do that. It's not a super huge kitchen, but it is a decent sized kitchen for an apartment, I think, anyways. And then I did spend a lot of time cluttering it up with the debug menu. I don't remember who it was who said that you could get lost in the debug menu, and that is so true. Like, I think whenever I use the debug menu, like, I have to, like, I spend forever in the debug menu. And if you don't know what the debug menu is, basically that is kind of like a secret menu that we're technically not supposed to have access to, but we do. And that includes things that you see your sim doing that we can't interact with. So for example, if your sim takes out a tray to cook with, it might include that tray. It might include some of the ingredients that they use to cook with. There are things that we're not really supposed to access, but we access them anyway. Yeah, so I use that menu a lot, and it is very easy to get lost in that menu. I do just want to give you a warning. If you do use the debug menu, be very careful. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Go to a different lot and test it out first. Make sure that you're really familiar with the debug menu before using it, because sometimes there are items that will glitch your game, or you'll sit them down and you can't pick them back up again, or if you put like certain things and your Sims can't like if you place something in front of another object and your Sims can't get to it, they won't be able to necessarily pick it up. One thing that I use is cups a lot, and I was always afraid that my Sims would take the cups and clean them, but they actually don't interact with them. So at least in my experience, I've never had a Sim pick up a dirty cup that I placed from the debug menu and wash it. I don't know about dirty dishes. I've never done that, but I do use cups a lot, like coffee cups, and I like to stick them like on tables and stuff to make it look like somebody had a cup of coffee and just left it there, because that's what I do every morning. So yeah, just be aware if you're using the debug menu, like what everything is and what you're using. For instance, I tried to put this wallet on this chest and it just disappeared. So it is kind of glitchy. But yeah, I do use that a lot. So over here you saw me place a dining room table, and I just stick a few random things over here on this countertop. Those little, I love these little things that I'm playing with now. They're juice mix, and I thought that it was so cute because at our house we actually leave juice mix out on the countertop for our 9-year-old. So if he wants to make juice, he can just grab the juice mix and go. So I thought it was really sweet to just have them like maybe sitting out on the countertop, where, I mean, I know their daughter's a teenager, but maybe when she was little, it was just easy for her to grab the juice and make the juice. So it's kind of what I was going for. And I kind of clutter up the kitchen table a little bit. I stick some curtains in here. I'm saying a lot. I apologize for that. I should I don't know. I'm really, really bad at that. Anyways, I'm gonna work on that. I put some rugs underneath the kitchen table, and then I decided to put a faux fireplace in here. Like maybe when they moved in, they were like, oh, well, let's add a fireplace or something. And I kind of imagine that they've been like long-time tenants. Like maybe they've been renting here since they were young and since when Renee was just a baby. And so I kind of imagine that their home's just really comforting to them because they've been here for a long time and it means something to them. So I really wanted it to look like it had been lived in for a while, and I think it turns out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm just kind of like moving some chairs around, and I end up putting that like little footstool there. So your Sims can't actually use that blue chair, but they can sit in that footstool. So there is technically extra seating. It's just not the chair. They'll sit on the footstool instead, which is okay. Like I like to do that a lot. I think it just makes the chair look really nice, and then you still have a place to sit. So I stuck a lamp on this little table next to the chair, and I thought that was really sweet. I clutter up that table. I think I just put like an envelope on that table, and then I add some candles to the fireplace, and eventually I end up going through that debug menu again, and I don't think I recorded all of that because it took me a while to go through that debug menu, and I cluttered up that table as well. So over here in the corner, I decided to put a bookcase and a computer, and there was still like plenty of room to do that. So I was pretty pleased with that because I was wondering how I was going to get everything. Like when you look at it, it looks like a pretty small space, but I was able to get a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, and a computer like office-y type area in here. So I was pretty pleased that I was able to do that. It turned out really well. It is a little bit of an awkward shape, I think, but hey, it works, and your Sims work. I have play tested this, by the way. I've played with the family a little bit because I don't know, they're just such a different family. So what I kind of imagine is Mom, whose name is Emily, she is she wants to be a master chef, and I just kind of picture that, like, she's gotten this far in life, her daughter's now a teenager, and she's like, I'm already an adult, like, and I haven't accomplished this, and so maybe she's a little bit bitter about it, and that's kind of how I imagine it. Whereas Dad, his name is Jonathan Daigle, and he is romantic, good, neat, and alluring, and his aspiration is to just find his soulmate. So for him, like, he's just happy, like, he's happy helping his wife, and he just wants to do everything for her. But I feel like over the years his wife has kind of taken advantage of that, so he has really been kind of like really submissive and a bit of a pushover to her, and basically she's grown used to that. So whatever she wants, her husband is going to get for her. He has worked hard, in the business career, and he wants to give her whatever he can. And so she says jump and he says how high, and that's kind of what I was going for. Their daughter is romantic, hot-headed, and business savvy. She wants to be mansion baron, and her name is Renee. And I picture that maybe Renee has picked up a little bit on the way that her mom treats her husband, and I think Renee maybe treats poor Jonathan the same way. So Jonathan lives in a house with two women who just treat him really badly, and he's just happy with it. Like, he's just okay. He's like, this is life. Like, this is okay. Like, I'm good with it, which is kind of crazy, but it's what I was going for. And I think the house kind of reflects that. Like, Jonathan is neat and he's cleaning, and, you know, he's taking care of these two women that are just like folding clothes and sticking them on the table. And but he's okay with that. I kind of just picture him being that like pushover dad. It kind of reminds me of like on Rugrats, if you guys are old enough to know Rugrats or have seen the Rugrats. Kind of reminds me of Betty and Howard, and how Betty's like a little like more aggressive, and Howard's like very much a pushover, and he's just like cleaning all the time and like doing everything for Betty. It kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know, like I kind of like playing with that type of relationship. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I was going for. So over here I just add some more clutter. I stuck a chair in, threw some folded clothes on there and some laundry baskets. Like maybe Jonathan was so behind that he didn't have time to put those clothes away. I also stuck some folded clothes on the table as well. Your Sims can still eat at that table. They will just not eat at that first chair. At least I don't think so. I did not play test that part, and I really should have. But it looks like when I look at it that they have enough space to eat. So I don't know. We'll have to check that out. So anyways, here I am going on into the hallway. I decided to put the washer and dryer there, and it kind of looks like it doesn't really belong there. So I thought maybe like before the apartments didn't have them, and then one day they were like, hey, you know, let's add a washer and dryer to this apartment, and like the people that own the place were like, you know what, you guys have been such good tenants, we'll do that for you. So it is kind of in a very random place. I should have put it in the kitchen, and that's what I was thinking of doing. And I think like in the middle of me building, like I forgot that I had planned to put them in the kitchen. I do that a lot. So yeah, I just kind of like clutter up this entrance area, and it's very kind of like, I don't want to say dark, it's just drab. I feel like in the hallway, like you walk up into a hallway, but it's also like kind of cozy and warm in a way. Like I could picture like my family living here, and I could picture like having friends living here and like coming in here, and I could see where it would be just a really cozy apartment and place to live. So moving on to the bathroom, there is only one bathroom in this apartment, and it is a rather small bathroom. I put in an extra countertop just so I could add a little bit more clutter and make it look a little bit more lived in, and obviously a toilet and a shower tub combo I thought would work really well. But yeah, it is a rather tiny bathroom, and I wanted to make it blue and bright and kind of pretty. And so, yeah, I just stuck like a basket of those supplies and a trash can, and then I also go through and put the plunger in next to the toilet that I get from the debug menu as well. And the toilet still works just fine, so none of that stuff interferes with your Sims. But yeah, I don't know, like I just kind of imagined like this bathroom is probably like a super cramped space. I don't know, like, blah, blah, blah. It's a super cramped space, and I kind of imagine things just get, like, thrown wherever. So moving on, this is the daughter's room. It's a pretty small room, but I feel like I was able to get everything in there that I wanted to get it in there. I do switch it up a little bit. I had oh my gosh, I can't talk today. I had trouble, like, finding a real good, decoration for her because of her personality. So she's romantic, she's hot-headed, and she's business savvy. So I wanted her room to be a little bit more put together than the rest of the house. I feel like if she's business savvy, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna quit talking. I feel like if she's business savvy, then she's probably really organized. So I didn't want the rest of her, like, I didn't want her bedroom to, like, be all crazy and everything. And I do end up changing it a lot because I wasn't happy with the blue and I wanted something that, like, here I am going through and I checked her personality because for some reason I was thinking it was something completely different. And I ended up going with, like, a pink color because I thought it was, like, kind of romantic and I mean, for a teenager, obviously, you don't want them to be too romantic. But, yeah, I just thought pink was like a really pretty color for her and really romantic and kind of reflect her attitude. I also imagined her, even though she's hot-headed, I imagine her being kind of like, I don't know, like grumpy, like one of those like snobby girls who's like, I don't know how to explain it, like, this is mine, and, like, don't touch my stuff, and, like, self-absorbed kind of thing. So that's what I was going for. I didn't make her self-absorbed, but I just kind of pictured her being that way, especially with how she has learned to treat her dad from her mom. So yeah, that's what I was going for, and I think it turned out pretty well. Her room is actually really, really cute. I love how it turns out in the end. I think it's perfect for a teenager, and it's pretty, it's pink, it reflects her personality, I feel like, pretty well. I have a spot for her to write in her journal, and she has a dresser and a little chair on the side. She's got a mirror in there to practice her speech because I feel like she would be pretty good at being like a superstar or something like that. She's not very pretty. I'm not gonna lie. She didn't turn out the greatest, but she's not bad. Like, I've seen other people's challenges and they look terrible, but she's not bad. She turned out okay for being a random genetic challenge girl. She turned out okay. So yeah, I just kind of picture her being in that career. She's kind of like, just with that hot-headedness, and like maybe she's just a snob. So pretty much this is like the end of her room. I throw a couple like paintings up on the floor, and of course that rug, which looks pretty well, and then yeah, just a few things to stick on her wall. I didn't overclutter it or anything crazy like that. And then we move on to the parents' room. The parents' room does not have a master bathroom attached to it, but I did want their room to kind of reflect the rest of the house. Like, it's got pretty much the same wall painting, and there's just a bed. It's pretty cluttered. I believe I stuck another computer in here as well, and I just pretty much just clutter up this room. It's very drab, kind of like the hallway, and you go in here and you can tell that maybe housework hasn't been kept up on, and probably Jonathan's overwhelmed, and his wife is maybe constantly yelling at him to do it, and he just isn't getting it done. So, poor Jonathan. Anyways, we are coming to the end of this video. Thank you for sticking with me through it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the video on my random genetic challenge that I posted. I will, put it at the end of this video. I will also put the rules for the genetic challenge in the description below if that's something that you would like to do. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my other videos and like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content. I have so much more coming out for you guys, and I'm way excited. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.